All right, what's up, everybody? I am super pumped. I am interviewing the one and only Carl White. What's up, Carl?
Mr. Handsome is what most of my friends call me. So it's going great, Dave. Good to see you, brother.
Good. Well, hey, this is, I think, the first time I've interviewed you where you're in the kitchen. It's good seeing where you have coffee every day.
We call this coffee with Carl.
Oh, coffee with Carl. I like that.
I like that
Uh,
too.
yeah. So for anyone that's hasn't heard of Carl, you must be brand new to the industry. This man has, if not the number one of the top two or three podcasts in the mortgage industry. Carl, would you say number one podcast in the industry, or who else are
Well,
some of the top podcasts?
I would say it's by downloads and reviews. Yeah, it's. I mean, it always sounds weird to say this, but so see that. So all right. So lesson
You
number
could
one.
say it's number one by downloads and reviews. You could say it.
It is absolutely download by our number one by download and reviews for sure. But see, it always sounds weird when you say, "Hey, Carl, are you great at this?" Man, I'm phenomenal at this. So let me. Here's a great lesson. Somebody taught me this. Anytime, like there's an old saying, "Toot your horn without blowing it." Right? Toot your horn without blowing it, which I love that statement. Right? And so a cool way to say, "Hey, I'm awesome," when it feels weird to say that, right? We all think that's weird. So a cool way to say that is, well, what I'm known for is I'm known for having the number one podcast by downloads and reviews in all of the mortgage industry. So when I say I'm known for, it's like they're saying it, whoever they are, but I'm not saying that because I'm much too humble to say something like that. And it's very weird to say, "Oh, I'm great, I'm amazing," because then you think I'm running for president or something like that, right? And so when I say they say, or what I'm known for is, it comes as a third party endorsement, even though it's your mouth saying it. So anyway,
Well, there's
there's
lesson
your
number
bonus
one.
for the day.
Yeah, for all you new loan officers, be the guide, don't be the hero. And
Yeah.
there's a great move
Mm.
by Carl on
Be,
that. And
be the guy, don't be
also,
the hero. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I took that from Story Brand, Donald Miller, so
I
I
like
can't
that.
own that, but I say that all the time. That's part of
Yeah.
my mantra
Mm,
is
mm,
be the guy, find great people and bring out the genius in the
mm,
people that are
mm.
really doing great things in the mortgage industry. So it's also a coach in the mortgage industry. He coaches lots of mortgage professionals that are incredibly successful. He's still an operator, runs a highly successful branch for Success Mortgage. And the reason I want to do this interview with him is he's also one of the best at making the most of a database. And I
Oh.
truly believe if you are in mortgage and you make your database your number one priority, uh, you will achieve financial freedom in the mortgage
Well,
industry.
I'd go a
You'll have
little
a
further than
sustainable
that.
career.
I would say if you're not the master of a database, you're working for somebody that is.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah. So I would say that's where, because dude, you look at like you look at the largest companies on earth. So what is Amazon? Amazon is strictly a database company. What is Apple? iTunes. Like they're making all the money in the music industry now, and it's because they're a database company. And so in the mortgage industry, let me tell you something that I had a guy teach me very early in my career, and I'm very grateful. He said, "Carl, you're not in the mortgage business. You're in the marketing business. You just happen to be marketing mortgages. Don't be in the mortgage business. Be in the marketing business, and you're marketing mortgages." And that has been some great advice over the years, Dave. Is I'm gonna if I'm gonna focus on something. Look, I want to be a great loan officer. I want to be, in my case, I want to be a great branch manager. But what'll pay more, what pays better, is to be a great marketer of my services. To be for you as you're listening to this, be a great marketer of your services. That's where attention number one needs to go, for sure.
Yeah, well, let's unpack that. And also, in full disclosure, Carl and team are, powered by Trust Engine, use Mortgage Coach, leverage our data services, and most importantly, they take action on it. Like they really are incredibly strategic with how they leverage data. So, Carl,
And I
let's
got a
let's
and I got a picture of Dave Savage on my refrigerator. Just so
that's
just we
not
just want to be
that's not
completely transparent here. So
that would be
yeah,
concerning if you
that
did, but I am honored, bro. I love our friendship and I love all the value you bring to this industry. So I always want to interview you multiple times a year, but I think it was last month. I can't remember the publication, but you wrote an article on Orphan, your Orphan
Oh,
database.
Scotsman's Guide. So awesome people,
Scotsman
by the
Guide.
way. If I can give a plug for my friends over at the Scotsman's Guide, they've been a great industry leader for a long time, and they produce a great magazine, one for residential, one for commercial. And boy, if you got some great ideas, they're always looking for good authors. But they're just a great ambassador for our industry for a long, long time. And no, I'm not a paid employee of them, but I love those guys. They're really good
Now
people. So
they're
anyway,
really good people, good
yeah,
founders,
so we
great.
so we wrote an article about orphan loans. And orphan loans, boy, Dave, I would say this is it's probably one of the most overlooked gold mines that can produce dozens and dozens of closings per month for any company of any reasonable size, or hundreds, I guess, for that matter. And what an orphan loan is uh, let's say, and I'm going to make up a name here, Loan Officer Larry. So let's say Loan Officer Larry was working at your mortgage company, and you're a loan officer, and you both worked at Mortgage Company of America, right? A fictitious name I just made up, right? So you both work at Mortgage of America, and Loan Officer Larry uh, didn't focus in on his marketing and didn't do a daily success plan and fell off here in the last couple of years, right? He or she was writing a fair amount of loans when they were just jumping in the boat without any effort whatsoever. And then come to find out, we actually have to work. We have to actually market our services for continued success. And Loan Officer Larry or Loan Officer Lisa didn't do that, and then they quit. Right? They got out of the business and went and whatever, working serving coffee at Starbucks or CEO of Apple or Disney, okay, whatever. They moved on, right, doing something different or retired, whatever. Um, well, what about the database they left behind? What about those people, right? So here you have all these loans, which is collectively could be a large number. And when somebody leaves your company or leaves a business and they leave behind this large database, nobody's marketing to those people. And so a great strategy, if you're a loan officer, like Dave, let's say you're my branch manager, I would go to you and say, hey, Dave, I know we had like 8 of our loan officers got out of the business, whatever, moved on, retired, whatever, aren't doing this anymore. And man, during the boom, they closed a fair amount of loans. They just, for whatever reason, decided not to continue with it, or didn't know that marketing is important, or whatever, like for whatever reason, no judgment. But they left behind all these orphans that nobody's contacting. Well, I take that back. Nobody in our company is contacting. Of course, our competitors are contacting these big, let's call them the big box lenders. They're marketing to them, right? But we're not. And Dave, would it be okay with you if I grab those orphan files, and I start marketing to them as if they were my past database, because they are the company's past database, right? There's just a couple little things we have to change in the script when we're calling and reaching out to those people. Is it okay if I reach out to those people, right? And of course, Dave, you're going to go, duh, well, dude, of course you can, right? Now, if I'm the branch manager, so let's take a different perspective. If I'm the branch manager, I would reach out to somebody that I'm noticing in my company, one of my loan officers that is marketing to my their past database. And I go, hey, loan officer Dave, I've got an idea. All these orphan loans we have, what if you start marketing to them too? And this is the way I understand it. So, Dave, I'm not a compliance guy, right? So by anybody's definition. So obviously, any of this stuff that we talk about, you'd run through your compliance. But the way that I understand it, if it's a company lead, like if the lead gives the company to the loan officer, it might have a different BIP payout. So just using an easy math number, let's say loan officer Dave normally gets 100 basis points, and I'm the branch manager here. You get 100 basis points on your loans, but if I'm letting you work these orphan loans, Dave, you'll get 75, and me as a branch manager gets that extra 25 because it's kind of a company provided lead. So as a loan officer, and I approach you, Dave, I'd say, Dave, branch manager Dave, you're missing out, Dave, branch manager Dave, on some big money here. I want to help you make more money. Here, let me market to orphans and get my full 100 basis points. If I'm the branch manager, I'd probably shave off 25% as a company provided lead, to help with my profit margin, which God knows we could all use when rates are skinny like they are now. Our profit margins are skinny. And so the orphan loan works out really well. Here's the thing, Dave. So I did a study on this. I took a random group of strangers that I didn't close, my company didn't close. Like, this was random. I went down to a local title company. I said, give me 300 houses in this little typical neighborhood. In today's market, those houses would probably be for, I don't know, 400, 450,000, just normal houses for normal people, right? And I said, give me 300 addresses. I need their name and their address and their owner occupied. And they gave them to me. We started marketing to them as if they were my past database, not looking to trick them or anything. We're just wondering, if I start marketing to them like I do my normal database, how will it convert compared to my database? And Dave, after 9 months, it was converting the same as my own past database, which for me runs 1 loan per 100 per month. So for that random group of 300, I was closing 3-4 loans a month, each and every month. It started on about and this is best of my memory, around month 3 or 4, we started getting, some of them reaching out to me. And by month 9, they're reaching out like my regular past database, which shocked me. I thought, holy cow, I was expecting something, but not to perform just like my past database. So I'm talking to Diane here in my office. I do a lot of masterminding with her, super smart lady. And I'm saying, Diane, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit at first. I was like, well, wait a minute. I thought my past database loved me, but come to find out that the strangers are reacting just as well as my past database. Why is that? It seems like my past database would do better, or a better way of saying it, the strangers wouldn't do as well. And she said, you know what it is, Carl? I said, no, I don't know what it is. Why is it working so well? She said, they think you are their past loan officer because their past loan officer is not reaching out to them, which is typical, by the way. And I thought about that, and I thought, she's absolutely right. And I wasn't doing it to trick anybody, because that's not the way I play, right? So I'm not looking to trick anybody. So it wasn't my intention to make them think I was their loan officer, but because they were getting my regular marketing, they probably thought that I was their past loan officer, even though that was not my intention. And yeah, so these orphans are a really, really, really good source of loans, Dave. So if you're looking to ramp up your business real quick, whether you're a branch manager, owner, or loan officer, setting up a campaign where you start to market to these people, very powerful. That's a 10-minute monologue on your 5-second question, Dave. But yeah, the orphan loans are great.
Yeah, well, it was an incredible monologue. And, when I became head of the chief innovation officer for Trust Engine, and we have Sales Boomerang, everybody was monitoring their past customer database. And because there was a cost, you had to pay a fee for all the data that was in it. You had to pay for the alerts. And one of the biggest learnings we had last year is that the prospect database, the orphan database, sometimes actually outperform the past customer database. And I've now interviewed some of the highest performing loan officers in America, and that are leveraging their database, and have learned that, they're not just managing their past customer database and calling on it. They're calling their prospects. They're even putting their realtors in that database. They're actually so good at data that they're actually getting realtors to give them their databases, because the realtor's database is better off in that mortgage professional's database than in their own CRM, because of the processes they're running, the way that they're monitoring. They're being very predictive, speed to lead, or excuse me, speed to need. They're getting to the need of the consumer faster.
Yeah.
And it sounds like
But,
you've already figured that out.
but dude, there's a trick to it. So let me tell you the secret sauce in all this. The secret sauce that I found is to do something that I call octopus marketing. Have you heard me talk about that, Dave? Have you heard of my octopus marketing
You know,
idea?
I don't know. I
All
mean,
right. So
great.
octopus marketing. Dude, this is the secret sauce right here. I'm telling you. So octopus, this is where everybody blows it. Not everybody, but most, right? So you think of an octopus. An octopus has eight arms, right? Or eight legs, arms, legs. I don't know what they are, but whatever. Appendages, let's call it that. So they got these eight arms or eight legs. I think they're arms. So they got these eight arms. And those eight arms all have one job, well, two jobs: feed one mouth, protect one body. So all eight arms feeding one mouth, protecting one body. So, which by the way, every now and then a shark will come and bite one off. Not the best day for the octopus, but not life threatening either, because they have seven other arms to feed and protect it while that eighth one grows back. So if one gets bitten off, it doesn't die, right? So I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, our marketing is the same way, is that there's no such thing as a one-armed octopus, right? That octopus would die, right? And so when we're marketing to our past database, or any kind of marketing to our prospective referral partners, the listing agent we're currently working with, anybody, we need to do a thing called octopus marketing. And that's where we're not just emailing them, we're not just texting them, we're not just social marketing, we're not just messaging, we're not just calling, we're not just meeting, we're doing all those things. That one arm is our calls, one arm is our texting, one arm is our meeting, one arm is our social media ads, one arm is our messenger. And you put together these eight arms. And now, like, let's say I've got this octopus marketing going out, because some people respond to calls, some to texts, some to emails, some to Facebook messaging. Like, everybody's different, right? And to think that, well, this is the way that I communicate doesn't mean that's the way that they communicate. And that can be a really big mistake I found early in my career. And so let's say, for instance, well, I just do texting, or just do social marketing. If I just do social marketing and that's it, I am one person's decision away from being out of business. I'm one person's decision away that Facebook says, or Instagram says, or TikTok says, or LinkedIn says, yeah, that thing, we don't allow that anymore as of today. And a shark just came and bit off your leg. Well, if that was to happen to me today, it'd be a major inconvenience, but it's only 1/8 of what we're doing. So it wouldn't be that painful, and we'll figure out another way. We'll grow the arm back, changing our strategy. But if we have, like, well, I'm texting my past database and that's it, and they come up with this new thing, which they did, this A2P thing, where texting, boy, you got to really be careful on the texting now. You can get some serious trouble with that if you don't do it compliantly. If you do it compliantly, it's perfect. If you don't do it compliantly, it can be a very, very, very expensive mistake. And a shark could come off and bite off that arm, and that could be a real problem. So you just want to make sure that you're doing octopus marketing when you're doing this, and not doing just like a mono channel marketing. You want to have a multifaceted thing going out. Very, very powerful way of doing things. And to rely on just one leg, just my social marketing, or just my texting, or just my emails, which is typical, just my emails. Well, that's a big, big, big. You're leaving most of the money on the table.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, one of the things I also think is incredibly important, and again, you benefit from this, is that we need to get more predictive. Right now, when you look at the types of alerts that most lenders have, it's like they're in the market. When someone is running a credit report with another lender, like, you're late. Someone just listed, you're late. You need to get to the sweet spot and leverage data so that you're predicting when that consumer is likely to be ready for a loan. And then one of the things we're doing at Trust Engine is we need to make sure that we're giving, we call it a data-driven, creative. Like, it's based on the needs of that consumer. And then that drives into a conversion conversation, so we're being predictive, we're sending the right message at the right time, and then we're, having the right conversation. Now, Carl, I think this might be the first time I've shown this prototype to a big audience, but you'll have access to this. This is the new Trust Engine app that's coming, where we're predicting who's likely to be in the money. So it's really looking at your top 1% of your database. So who are the 1% of your database that are most likely to buy, sell, refinance, and then we're showing them to you, and we're putting a script, we're sending that message, we're giving you scripting, and we're putting all on an app. How do you like that? You think and by the way, you can email, you can text, and you can call compliantly.
Octopus Marketing.
Octopus Marketing.
Octopus Marketing, TM. Octopus Marketing, TM. So, so that's a great demonstration of what I call high touch, high tech, low time. It provides high touch by using high tech and takes low time for me to do so that you can do it to large groups of people. So that looks outstanding, Dave. Really does. High tech.
Yeah, well,
high touch,
you're gonna have that soon.
time.
You guys are Borrower Intelligence Platform customers. So let's make a case for all the loan officers out there that are, and again, nothing wrong with chasing new realtors. In fact, you need to do that. You need to go out and build new relationships, but not at the expense of your database. Let's just have a quick conversation. You list a few reasons why your database should be your number one priority. I'll list a few, and then let's wrap up with some closing thoughts.
Perfect. So if somebody comes to me and they're brand new in the business and they say, Carl, what should I do? Probably marketing their past database is not the first one that I would pick, right? So for me on those, I would pick, hey, let's go after referral partners because we don't have a past database. I get it. We get the sphere of influence. I get all that, right? And that's all good too. But if somebody's got a past database of say 300, 400, 500, man, I always like to go with the low hanging fruit. I always like to go with easy, right? Easy out trumps everything else for me. And so for me, nothing's easier than connecting up with people that I've done business with before. Like there's nothing wrong with that at all. In most, so Dave, when I go around the country doing events, one of the questions I ask people is I'll be in a room and we'll have like 500 people there. And I said, all right, of the people in the room right now, how many of you have called your past database from A to Z, from letter A to letter Z in the last 2 years? In a room of 500, I'll have 8 people stand up, maybe 10, maybe a dozen, maybe out of 500. So very, very, very small amount, right? So then it's like, then all right, now how many of you know without a shadow of a doubt that if you did market to your database, that you'd close more loans in the next 30 days? 500 people stands up. And I go, all right, so we have a problem here. We have 100 out of 100 people know that this is a good thing to do, yet somewhere around 2, maybe 3% are actually doing it, right? And I'm convinced what holds them back is the fear of, I don't know what to say. It's been 5 years since I closed and they haven't heard from me. It's going to be weird. And one thing I've learned, Dave, is people think about us way less than what we think they do. They're too worried about what you think of them. And so to think, well, that's like the guy that I bought a motorhome, I don't know, 3 years ago. By the way, it's the 5th motorhome I bought, and I've never once had any of them ever call me. And these things, well, you know what they cost, man. They're the price of a house, right? And so I bought 5 of them. Not one person has ever called me and thanked me or asked me, hey, we've noticed that you told us you bought 4, you just bought your 5th one. It's been 3 years. Are you ready for the 6th one? The answer is yes, I am. But the last one I bought 4 years ago didn't call me, right? So, man, that's just a special kind of stupid where I come. I mean, it's just crazy, right? It's just crazy that they do that. And so don't be that person. Call your past database, because if he or she was to call me up which by the way, I've never bought one of my motorhomes from the same person twice. Cause I don't remember who they were. They don't call me. Right. And so if he or she was to call me today, I wouldn't go, dude, that's weird. You haven't called me in 4 years. Why are you calling me? I'd go, dude, Marvin, or I don't know what his name was, or I don't remember him. But if you say, hey, Carl, you bought your motorhome for me in the past, and call and see how's that thing going, dude, Marvin, I can't believe you thought of me, man. So yeah, man, it's going great. Funny, you should call. But they won't do that, Dave. And I think it's that thing of I don't know what to say. They're going to think I'm weird, which is just all crap. I found the easiest script in the world is to thank them. Just thank them. Hey, Dave, thanks so much for letting me help you in the past, man. It was a true honor. I've never once had somebody, the nerve of you thanking me, Carl. I can't believe you actually called me up and thanked me. I'm so pissed off. I'm going to tell all my friends and post on Instagram about how bad you are because you called me up to thank me. I've never once had that happen. Yet that's the thought that must go through 97% of loan officers' minds. Otherwise, they'd pick up the phone and call these people, or they'd text them, or they'd put them on their Octopus Marketing, and start marketing these people. So anyway, so the pro is they've already done business with you in the past. They already trusted you in the past, and you have some sort of a relationship, which is better than reaching out to strangers. So I would always start, as long as you've got, say, 300 or plus in your past database, I would always start with the past database first, always. Before we put more fish in the bucket, before we put more gold in the bucket, let's plug the holes in the bucket.
What are your thoughts on this? I've got a new loan officer playbook. It's on LinkedIn. I'll put a link down below to it. And one of the things I recommend that new loan officers do, they build that sphere of influence database, and it has renters and it has owners. And I recommend, start with your renters, because those are people that, they haven't bought a home. They don't understand home ownership. So they have kind of they have the lowest home ownership IQ, and call them and just say, hey, John, I'm new in the mortgage business. I need your help. You got a few minutes? Of course, John. Again, these are people they know, like, and trust. I need to practice my rent versus own analysis. There's an affordability crisis in America, and I need to get really good at helping people understand, should you be renting or should you be owning? And they actually do a MortgageCoach rent versus own analysis, and they actually get good at doing, by the 20th call, the 20th time,
Sure.
They're getting good at this. And so they're building confidence because they're getting good at having this rent versus own conversation. And you know what? After doing 20 of them, they're going to have gotten some leads. And some people that are like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. And they're going to now have some ammo to give to realtors. And then somewhere, north of 20 times that they've done that, say, now start calling your homeowner friends. And different little nuance to the script. Hey, I need your help. I need to, there's an affordability crisis. You probably have a very low interest rate. And I need to get really good at helping people understand, should they stay in that house that they're in, or should they move up? So I need to get really good at having the move up conversation. Will you help me with that? And after 20 times, they've gotten good at that. They've also got some move up buyers to give to realtors, and they're building that database. So they're getting better at having critical conversations. They're generating leads, and you know what they're doing? They're building a database. And to the point you made earlier, whether you close the loan for someone or whether it's a prospect, like at the end of the day, building that database of orphans, of prospects, of friends, and then of course, past customers. What are your thoughts on that strategy for new LOs?
There's a thing for me on marketing. There's two kinds of marketing. There's farming and there's hunting. So Dave, perfect transparency, you and I have done well, right? And my suspicion is, for you is the same with me, we could not get a check for the next 6 months. And frankly, it wouldn't affect any part of our life, right? That wouldn't change. Like we've been doing this a while, right? We've made good investments. We've marketed to our past database, right? And we've done well. So when we save our money, we invest it, and so we're doing well. So you and I can afford to farm, because if we're hungry, we got plenty of food in the pantry. We can eat for the next 6 months, and we can wait for the corn to grow out in the garden. Right? We got time. Right? We're good. Right? We can wait. Somebody's just getting new in the business. They may or may not be able to afford to farm. They need to go hunting. They need a loan today. They need a loan right now. And for those people, I would say, so I think farming is a very good thing. I do a lot of farming, right? I do a lot of farming. I do a lot of, uh, this podcast is farming for me, right? I'm honored to be on your podcast. Maybe I'll meet somebody that I'll do business with in the future. And so this is a farming technique for me, right? Being on a podcast, right? I've got a podcast. It's a farming technique. Hunting is where I call somebody up and saying, I call somebody that I'm most likely to get a loan from right now today because I need a loan right now today. And so renter wouldn't be my first person I'd go to, because they might have a lease. Even if they decide they want to buy a house, they're in a lease for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And even when they start to look for a house, it's probably 2, 3 months, a good 2 or 3 months, before they find a house and close, which may or may not work out for a brand new loan officer. So for me, I would go more off. For a new loan officer, I'd tell them to go hunt instead of farm. For an experienced loan officer, I would say, I would hunt and farm. So I'm hunting for loans this month, but I'm farming for loans 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. So for me, a brand new loan officer, man, I'd go right to the referral partners, man. Could they have people this very weekend that's out already looking for a house? I had a really smart guy tell me, so actually this was a smart lady, and maybe this is a cliche, but it was the first time I heard it was from this lady. Her name was Lee Miltier. And she said, Carl, look for people who are looking for you. Look for people who are looking for you. And I really like that. And so for me, I'm looking for, if I'm brand new and I need a loan right now today, I'm going to go to people that are out looking at houses this very weekend, that we might have a contract literally on Monday, because I need a loan right now to survive, to be able to do farming. So I love the renter campaigns. It wouldn't be the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do is go hunt, because I need a loan today. But that's just
Well,
but brother, that's just my take on it.
well,
Doesn't make it the right take.
let's talk this out, because I thought about that. And by the way, what I am calling out is a 90-day plan. Your first 90 days in the mortgage business. And I do think for any loan officers new listening to this, you do need to have a hunting, that's not all you're doing is farming. And I would be hitting open houses. Like, that is a place where buyers are, realtors are there. But here's my pushback on that, Carl, is in order to be attractive to a realtor and to actually have successful realtor meetings, one, you need a certain level of confidence, and you need a certain level of capabilities. And I do believe those capabilities go beyond just product guidelines and transaction guidelines.
Right.
And if you, in your first 90 days, can become just a master badass at turning renters into buyers, and you can also, in your first 90 days, get better than 90% of loan off 90. I literally believe a new loan officer in the market in 90 days, if they did this, call renters, call buyers, and call this a little bit of wax on, wax off. If you waxed on and waxed off for 90 days and went out to open houses 90 days from now, you're going to be better than 95% of the loan officers in America.
Yeah, and you know what this might be,
and
Dave?
having that renter conversation and having that, and you're going to have some business, and you're going to be more successful with realtors. So,
and you know what this might be, Dave? You know what this might be? This might be Octopus Marketing. And so one leg, I'm going after the renters. One leg, I'm going after the referral partners. One leg, I'm going after my sphere of influence. So it's back to the Octopus Marketing thing, that no one. So I love the theme day thing, which Dean Jackson is the father of the godfather of the theme days, by the way. And so maybe it'd be like Monday's my renter day, Tuesday is my sphere of influence day, Wednesday is my referral partner day, and because the wonderful thing about a brand new loan officer, you have no business going on right now, which means you have nothing to stand in your way. You've got nothing to do but prospect. You have zero loans to be babysitting through the pipeline right now. So you have nothing but time to do nothing but prospect. And so I also thought a beginning loan officer has actually has an advantage in that they have no distractions because they have nothing but time to do nothing but prospecting. And so, do I think going after the renters is good? Yeah, absolutely. And sphere of influence.
So here's a closing question, and then any closing thoughts you have. Um, one of the biggest challenges we have here at Trust Engine, and what really delineates the best from the rest, at least as it pertains to turning data into dollars, is making the database calls. Like
Yeah.
we provide these signals and these opportunities, and some loan officers have this practice where, between 8 and 9 in the morning, I'm making all my data calls, and I'll call out Myron Chamberlain from Prime Lending. Was it last year I interviewed him? Number one loan officer in the country and number one loan officer at making the most of Trust Engine. And he's like between 8 and 9 every morning, and sometimes it doesn't take till 9, sometimes by 8 to 8:30, I'm calling all my signals in my database. We call them opportunities. Some loan officers do that. Most loan officers don't do that. They don't make the important calls. Any coaching advice for anyone listening to this? Any advice you have to go from not doing the day-to-day work and making the day-to-day calls in the database? Any thoughts?
So we've got a saying, don't get so busy building the farm that you forget to milk the cows. And I think that most loan officers, they get so busy building the farm and they're not milking the cows, which is milking the cows is where the money is. It's no secret that dairy farmers, what do they do? When do they milk the cows? First thing in the morning. Why do they do that? To make sure it gets done. And so I'm sure they need to go paint the fence. I'm sure they need to go to the feed store. I'm sure they need to change the oil in the tractor, and all that'll get done after we milk the cows. And so the person that you just mentioned, the reason they do that first thing in the morning is they want to make sure they milk the cow first to make sure that anything else can get overlooked, that can't get overlooked. Because here's a simple math. So I think my team, and this is off the top of my head, I think we closed, I think it was 287 loans last month, right in my branch. So my branch closed 287 loans.
Congratulations.
Not bad, not bad. So there's a reason why that ranks as one of the top branches in the nation, and there's only one reason only, and that one reason is we simply made more offers. We made more offers. So I got a formula: offers minus no's equals money. Offers minus no's equals money. So if you want to make more money, you got to make more offers, period. Which is what Trust Engine helps us to do: make more offers, right? Simply make more offers. Now, here's the thing, though, Dave. When I make more offers, I'm going to get more no's. And the problem I think most loan officers have is they're trying to eliminate the no's. You go, dude, that's the wrong approach. Simply make more offers. And when you make more offers, you're going to get more no's, but you're going to get more money. Early in my career, I focused on how can I get 0 no's? How can I eliminate the no's? There's one way and one way only to make sure that you get absolutely 0 no's. And that's to make no offers. So whoever closed the most amount of loans made the most amount of offers. So just simply make more offers and you'll close more loans. So anyway, that's my that's my little soapbox. You want to close more loans, make more offers, and when you make more offers, you're going to get more no's. And I understand, I think everybody's so afraid of the rejection thing. They're not rejecting you; they're rejecting your offer. That doesn't mean anything. Hell, they may or may not know you. Like whatever. That's like the waiter that comes up and asks me if I want dessert this afternoon. I might say, no, I'm full. I'm good. I didn't say I hate this place, I hate your food, and waiter, I hate you. I just simply said, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. And I think I think we're so worried about getting the no's that it paralyzes most loan officers. And if you want to close more loans, just make more offers. And Trust Engine is a great way to make more offers. Trust Engine has built inside of it Octopus Marketing for you. So anyway, that's my soapbox.
I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna knock it out of the park with that. That farming analogy. So I'm so glad I asked you that. I'll probably be using that a couple hundred times this year out there in the marketplace. So thank you for that, Carl.
You're welcome, Dave.
I want to make sure anyone that listened to this, knows, one, the name of your podcast so they can watch it, and two, you just do an incredible job of creating value for everyone that you touch, whether they're an actual coaching client of yours or whether they just come to some of the content that you give the industry for free. So where can loan officers, find your podcasts? What are the best places for anyone that's like, man, I really want to learn more from you and from the people in your organization?
So, dude, we do this thing every morning, dude. I don't know if you've been on it yet, Dave.
Yeah, no, I got invited one time, and if you invite me again, I will be there.
Dude,
First thing in the morning.
All right. So as soon as we finish this, dude, you're welcome, Dave. Dude, you're just a legend. You're such a humble guy, right? And you're just a legend in the industry. So we'd love to have you on there. So we do this thing every morning. It's called the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. And a very dear friend of ours helps us host it, Frank Gray. And on any given morning, we'll have, I think this morning it was 527 loan officers on this big Zoom meeting every Monday through Thursday. And we pick a topic, and for 30 minutes, we do it from 8:30 to 9 Eastern time. So it's early for the West Coast people, but it's worth it. And there's no charge. It's free, loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. And you get invited to a Zoom Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 9. And we just we pick a subject for the day of how to close more loans. Like this morning, we had a social media expert, Chelsea Gardner, on, super lady, by the way. And she was on there talking about social media. Our mutual friend, Barry Habib, is on Thursday to give us a market update. And our friend, Owen Lee, joined us every Monday to give us the backgrounds of what's happening in the industry. And so it's just a great thing. Loanofficerbreakfastclub.com, and come join us. It's open. You have to be a loan officer, but it's open to any loan officer. There's no charge for it. And just a great group of people, and would love to have you guys on it. So loanofficerbreakfastclub.com.
Link down below. Go check it out.
Now, if you feel guilty and want to send me money, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Like if you go, Carl, this is awesome, this is great, but God, I just feel guilty. Feel free. You can just, we'll put a link here. You can just PayPal me some money. No, I'm just kidding. But it really is. It's really good stuff. And Dave, would love to have you on next week.
Yeah, no, I'll look forward to that invite, and I'll be there. And then your podcast, best place to find that?
The podcast is Loan Officer Freedom. So Loan Officer Freedom on any platform. I think it's any platform. You'll see us on there, Loan Officer Freedom. But boy, if I was to grab one, I'd grab grab both. But the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, pretty cool stuff going on there.
Well, you and I really share a passion for helping people achieve financial freedom. As mortgage professionals, let's face it, the goal is not just to make a lot of money, it's to make a lot of money and achieve financial freedom. And same thing with homeowners. The goal is not just homeownership in America. The goal is to achieve sustainable homeownership and financial freedom. So, Carl, super grateful for our friendship. Thank you. You knocked it out of the park today. I look forward to our next conversation, brother. Take care, my man.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Dave. It's an honor to be part of your group, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.